They say silence can cut deeper than screaming, and that's exactly how I walked away. No raised voices, no pleading, no chances left. Just quiet. When I discovered my wife was cheating, something in me snapped, not dramatically, not like a movie meltdown, but in a cold, still way that felt final. A kind of hurt that doesn't cry out. It just hollows you from the inside. It was a year ago. I'd come home early from work on a regular Tuesday. Nothing unusual. The lights were low. The house felt unnaturally still. Then I noticed her phone on the counter, screen glowing with a message preview, "Can't wait to see you again." My stomach dropped, but my hand stayed calm as I unlocked it. And there it was, message after message, photos, hotel slips, words I never imagined she'd share with anyone except me. I didn't confront her immediately. I waited. I sat in the living room for hours, staring at our wedding picture on the wall. Her smile had once been genuine, mine too. Now it felt like a lie, frozen mid-moment. When she finally came home, humming like everything was normal, I stayed silent. I simply handed her the phone already open and said softly, "You left this on the counter." She looked at the screen, and I watched the color drain from her face. She tried to speak, but I cut her off. "You don't have to explain. I'd read more than enough." She began crying, rambling about feeling ignored, how we'd grown apart, how she never meant for it to happen. I just nodded. "I'm not angry," I said. And I wasn't. I was finished. I just don't want to stay in something that doesn't mean anything anymore. That night, I packed. Only the essentials, some clothes, my laptop, my sketchbook. When she realized I wasn't bluffing, panic hit her. "Please don't do this. We can fix it." I can still hear the tremble in her voice, see her hands shaking as she reached for me. I gently pulled away. "You broke something that can't be put back together," I told her. Then I walked out. No shouting. No farewell. Just gone. I moved to the other side of town and started from scratch. The first months were tough, lonely, silent, but oddly calming. I learned to cook for myself, to sleep in the center of the bed again. I poured myself into work, got back into woodworking, spent weekends helping my brother repair his porch. Little by little, life formed a new rhythm. A year passed without a single word from her until that night. Close to midnight, I heard a knock. Soft at first, then more urgent. I hesitated, then opened the door. There she stood, my ex-wife, hair tangled, makeup running, eyes red and swollen. A ghost of the person I once loved. "Can I come in?" she whispered. I stepped aside without speaking. She walked in clutching a crumpled tissue, trembling like she'd sprinted through rain, though the night was perfectly clear. "I didn't know where else to go," she said. I stayed silent, leaning against the counter as she paced around the space that used to be ours. She looked around, taking in the new furniture, the framed photos of mountains and sunsets I'd taken alone. "It's different," she murmured. "Yeah," I said. "So am I." She exhaled a shaky breath that sounded like a sob. I made the biggest mistake of my life. I didn't rush to comfort her. I simply let the words linger. "You don't need to say that to make me feel better," I told her. "I'm not," she insisted quickly, shaking her head. She paused, tears spilling again. "He left. Months ago. Said I was too emotional, too much drama. And I kept thinking maybe I deserved it. Maybe it was karma." She looked up at me, desperate. "But I miss you. I miss us." I swallowed hard. There was a time when those words would have broken me. Now they just floated in the air. "You miss the version of me that let you get away with things," I said quietly. She winced. "That's not fair." "No," I replied. "It's honest." We fell into silence, the clock ticking in the background. She wiped her face and whispered, "I thought you would hate me." "I did," I admitted. "For a while. But hate eventually fades. You stop replaying everything. You just learn to exist without waiting for an apology that never came." She stepped closer, voice shaking. "Do you ever think about us?" "Sometimes," I said. "But not the way you think. I think about how much it hurt losing you and how I refuse to ever feel that small again." Her lip trembled. She reached toward me but let her hand fall halfway. I'm not asking you to take me back. I just needed to say, I'm sorry. I ruined something good. I nodded slowly. You did. That broke her. She sobbed harder, body trembling. And for the first time in a long while, I felt something, not anger, not love, but closure. The kind that comes when you finally see the person who hurt you not as a villain, but as human, flawed, lost, imperfect. Eventually she calmed down. I handed her a glass of water, and she took it, avoiding my gaze. You look happy, she whispered. I am, I said. Not because I stopped loving you, but because I learned how to love myself again. Silence settled between us again, heavy, genuine, but this time it didn't hurt. It was peaceful. When she finally rose to leave, she paused at the doorway. You really moved on, didn't you? Yeah, I said. And I hope someday you do too. She nodded, eyes glossy, and whispered, you were the only one who ever made me feel safe. Then she walked out. I stood there for a long time, staring at the empty doorway, listening to her car fade into the night. Then I closed the door softly, the same way I left her a year before. No anger, no noise. Just quiet. Because some endings don't need explosions. They just need you to finally choose yourself.